So welcome in everyone. Um, we are going to be getting started. Welcome in everyone. We are going to be getting started in just a moment, a few moments. So you can take some time to get settled in, to get comfortable. Okay, so lots of people joining in here. Can everybody hear me okay? Wasn't able to hear anyone. Maybe it's my settings. Can everyone hear me all right? Yes, okay. But here in Discord I cannot hear. Right, I just want to make sure I can hear if anyone in Discord speaks. Yeah, thank you, Nikki, so much. It works. So welcome to Jim, Christina, Scott, Kat, Eddie, Justin, Gabe, Francie, Keem, Mickey, Nikki, Penn, Sawyer, and Waka. Hi there, Waka. Courtney, Justin, Anna. Great, we have a lot of new people joining this evening. We also have some people watching through YouTube. Hoa Lu, great to have you here again. And Karuna also watching through YouTube, great. And we of course have some people here joining at the center as well. Okay. Hey there, Felonius and Bree and Arden. So it's really good that so many people joining us this evening. So we have the feeling of inspiration, feeling of urgency to practice, to focus on our meditation. It can be very difficult to do alone, but when we have people coming together, it's easier, we're more motivated, and especially when we are at a place physically. So of course a lot of people, most people are joining through online, But if you hold your mind the right way, then you can understand that this is a community space. We are continuously holding this space and we're having these daily sessions, so you are here. And really bring some gravity and some willingness to stay for the whole period of time if you're able. Don't easily give up. Um, don't easily run away from the situation just because you encounter difficulty. A lot of our meditation practice is exactly that, encountering difficulty. So if you have the mindset that there's a reason that you want to meditate, there's some interest you have in meditation, that's to encounter difficulty. That's to be with the body and the mind. That's to be with some distraction, to be with some confusion, and to return back to the meditation practice. That's really where the value comes from in our practice. All right? So first of all, we always have to get settled into our meditation position. All right? So we can all take a moment to get comfortable and find a stable position for our body. Try to find a position in which you can be somewhat still and stable. If you're someone who has a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress and almost to the point of panic, then just lay down. Don't force yourself to be in a tough situation. But if you're able, it's good to sit upright with the shoulders back, sitting cross-legged on the ground or sitting in a chair. Actually, the way we sit is quite important. It can be a really major factor in if our meditation is successful or not. But it's still no replacement, it's no substitute for finding out if you really want to meditate at all. So you just have to find a comfortable, stable position for now. And if you do make that decision that you want to practice meditation more, that you want to get more involved with it, then there will be certainly avenues to adjust your posture, to find a more stable, more suitable meditation position. But for now, it's most important just to get comfortable and to find a stable position for the body. Okay? So once we find that comfortable, stable position, we can begin to take a few deep breaths. And as we take those deep breaths, we practice to bring the mind home to the body. We practice to not allow the mind to be focused on outside situations or outside things, but we gather up the mind. We bring the mind home to the body as we breathe deeply. We can start to feel the presence of the mind in the body. So that, what that means is that there is an ability, there is an experience of being aware of the body at this moment. The body is not an afterthought, It's not something that's secondary, something kind of that we just have to deal with. The body is paramount. The body is primary to our lived experience. And it's certainly primary to the kind of thoughts we have, the kind of stresses and confusions that we have, all originate in the body. So, giving a lot of attention to the breath and breathing as deeply as you need to bring the mind into the body. Becoming aware of the body sitting here at this moment. So our meditation practice isn't this kind of complicated endeavor. We are aware of, in the present moment, sensations of the body. Maybe we feel a heat, or we feel coolness, or we feel a pain, or we feel the breath coming into our body and going out. What all of these feelings and experiences have in common is that they are not intellectual, they are not conceptual, and they all are happening in the present moment. So when we direct our mind, our attention to these sensations in the body, this awareness of the body, we are anchoring ourselves into the present. We are anchoring ourselves into being aware rather than reacting. So giving a lot of attention to the activity of breathing. Sitting still or being still and giving our full awareness, our full attention to the activity of breathing at this moment. We can notice, we can feel, experience the effect that the breath has on the body. So breathing isn't this kind of vague idea. We don't need to ask what is breathing. As we are breathing, there is a directly experienced effect on the body. Maybe it's our nose, our chest, our stomach. Without any judgment, without any preference, experiencing the breath as it happens, as it flows in and flows out. Now sometimes, especially if we are new to meditation, the thoughts and the distractions and the complicated ways of living that we have, they pop up very quickly when we start to meditate. And we immediately start to justify why we can't continue. It's at those moments that we prioritize and experiment with breathing. So sometimes we just get very worked up and we want to meditate, but then we have this thought and that thought, and the body's uncomfortable, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't like this person talking, right? I don't like the sound of this voice. And it's at that moment that we just adjust our posture a bit. We take a deep breath and restart, refresh. Meditation is always happening in the present moment. So we are constantly restarting and refreshing. Letting the mind settle, calm, giving our full attention to the breath happening and our awareness of the body. Breathing and aware of the body. Just breathing, giving our full, non-judgmental attention to our body. The difficulties, distractions are an essential part of our meditation. We notice them, we are aware of them, and through this breathing, noticing physical sensations in the body, we just restart and refresh. We don't get pulled around or pushed around by those thoughts, because this isn't a time for preference. There's no need to indulge liking or disliking. Just breathing and noticing. Being aware of the body. We can bring our attention to the very top of our head, the very tippy top of our head. And from the top of our head, as we are still focusing on our breath, we can allow our attention and our focus to go down into our skull, our brain, our eyes, our cheeks, our nose, our face, our jaw. Breathing and being fully aware of your head at this moment. Seeing if there's anything you notice in the head area, the skull, any tension or tightness. Just noticing, breathing and noticing the whole head area without any judgment. We have a head. Anyone who hears my voice at this moment has a head of some sort. So, being aware of that head, noticing. As we continue focusing on our breath, allowing that awareness of the head area flow down into our neck, our throat, the spine, very top of the spine. Inside and out in the neck area, noticing, experiencing our neck. We might perhaps feel the sensation, the experience of the breath flowing down our throat, our neck. As we breathe, our awareness from the neck going down into our shoulders, going down into our shoulder joints, going down into our upper arms, our armpits, from the shoulders all the way down to the elbows, from the elbows to the forearms, down to the wrists, from the wrists into the hands, into the fingertips. So right now, at this moment, rather than some kind of complicated spirituality or complicated meditation, a really deep, clear awareness of sitting here at this moment, breathing, and being aware of the shoulders, the arms, the hands. And not only to do it, not only to practice it, that you are sitting here and aware of the shoulders, the arms, the hands, and breathing, but to know that this is exactly what you're doing. It isn't some other way. So from our shoulders, arms, all the way down to our hands and our fingertips, bringing our attention back up to the shoulders and into the chest, the area of the heart, the area of the lungs, the spine, the rib cage, the shoulder blades, all the way down to the belly and the lower back. Right now, from the feeling of the breath in the stomach, if you can notice it there, from that point, being aware of the whole upper body at this moment. breathing, being aware of the whole upper body at this moment. And noticing if there is anything that sticks out to you. Maybe a sense of pain or a sense of bodily awareness that is unusual for you. And just notice it. Just be aware of it. As we move further down from the belly into the very bottom of the spine, the very bottom of the back, into the pelvis area, the groin area, the butt area. If we are seated cross-legged or seated in a meditation position, we can notice that this is the point of gravity. This is the point of contact between the presence of the body and the ground. So we can give some extra attention to this point of contact. As we move from our butt area into the thighs, inner and outer thighs, bone, fat, muscle, all the way from our groin area, our inner thighs, into the knees. And from the knees down into the calf muscles, the shin bone, all the way down into the ankles and the feet. The very bottom of our feet, the soles of our feet and our toes. Remembering to rely on the breath, to stay very close to this simple practice of the breath flowing in and going out, as we are aware of the entire lower body, from the bottom of our back, the bottom of our spine, the pelvis, all the way down to our tippy toes, the soles of our feet. Breathing in deeply, we can become more and more aware of the body as a whole at this moment. And it's a little bit easier to experience the body as a whole when we're still. But even if we aren't still, even if there has been some movement, we can have a sense, a feeling of connection with the fact that the whole body is here right now. So breathing and being aware, the whole body sitting here at this moment. Breathing in deeply to the stomach, fully aware of the body as a whole. Just like a balloon inflating and deflating. As we breathe in deeply, feeling our whole body expand. And as we breathe out, feeling the whole body release. Allowing our breath to find a natural, comfortable rhythm. A natural rhythm of the breath flowing in and flowing out. When we have this sense of relaxation and stillness, this is our opportunity to go deeper in understanding and applying a method of meditation. So to meditate properly, we have to have a sense of relaxation. We have to have a sense of balance, simplicity, a general calmness. It's from that place of simplicity that we can pick up and apply a meditation method. That is to go deeper. That is to maintain our practice instead of falling asleep, or instead of falling into lofty thinking, but to continue our practice. So if you are new to meditation, you may not have a method. If you've been practicing for a while, you may have a method. But sitting still at this moment, breathing, you can select an object of your meditation. There are two that are most commonly recommended. One is to continuously notice and to return to awareness of your body, the sensations arising and passing away in your body. Another is to focus on your breath, specifically the feeling of the breath as it comes in through your nose and goes out. So choose what feels most comfortable for you, your meditation method, and begin to practice it with sincerity. With clarity. Breathing and being aware of your body, or breathing and giving extra attention to the feeling of the breath as it flows in through your nose. We'll take a few moments, a few minutes to try this out, to practice this. And then I will instruct for another meditation method that is possible to practice with. But for now, from this place of relaxation, having a really, really clear view of what it is to practice meditation, to practice a method. And for a few moments, trying that out, to actually practice this method. Either awareness, non-judgmental awareness of the physical sensations in your body, or specifically the feeling of the breath as it flows into your nose and flows out. Don't give up. Don't fall into sleepiness or a sense of tension or struggle. You had an interest in meditation. Now is the time to practice it, to apply a meditation method. Each and every moment in our meditation practice, whether we are doing a great job or having a lot of difficulty, is always a moment of restarting and refreshing. If you feel that you are absolutely failing at your meditation, then you're doing a very good job. And right now is the moment to restart, to refresh, to go back to the meditation method, not to give up. When all else fails, when we find ourselves in a place of utter confusion, just be still and breathe deeply and be aware and recognize that this is your life. This is your body. You have to take care of it. You have to be responsible for it. And if you are unwilling to be with yourself, how can you be with anything? Just breathing and being aware at this moment. So I'd like to bring up another option, another method that is possible to use for meditation. Make sure that you're comfortable. Make sure that you're not sitting pretzel with your legs on fire and you're in all this pain. Move slowly, but be comfortable. Try to be still and comfortable and stable position. So we went over body scanning practice. We kind of sit still, focus on our breath, and we scan through the body. We went through a very traditional mindfulness practice, either mindfulness of the body or mindfulness of the breath, getting distracted and returning back to our object, our method of meditation. And now I want to talk about a really precious, really wonderful method of meditation, and that is metta. That is loving kindness. The prerequisite for any practice of meditation is some stillness, some relaxation, and most of all, sincerity and a willingness to try. But particularly in metta, in loving kindness meditation, that sincerity is so important. So when we're already somewhat relaxed, somewhat still, and actually this method is one we can even use, we can even practice this method if we aren't somewhat relaxed, if we aren't somewhat still. This is maybe one meditation method you can practice in basically any situation. But if we have this stillness and this concentration, then that's all the better. So in metta meditation, we bring up the energy of loving kindness. We plant the seeds of loving kindness in our body and mind, in our life. So it's very simple. We repeat phrases such as, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace." However, this is not a kind of self-hypnosis. This is a bringing up, a planting the seeds of, and a connecting with this energy of loving kindness that we all have. So a part of this practice is that we are learning, we are experiencing what it's like when we treat ourselves in this way. When we express ourselves to ourselves in this way. So it's very, very simple. Just repeat after me. And as you repeat these words in your mind, using your inner voice or your outer voice, it's up to you. Put all of your sincerity and your heart and your depth into these words, saying to yourself, to your body, to your mind at this moment. Staying with the breath and repeating after me. May I be happy. May I be happy. May I be free from fear. May I be free from fear. May I be totally free from fear. May I be at peace. May I be free from suffering. We say these words of metta towards ourselves with no debate, no excuses, no justifications, and no discussions. It is as if a mother is saying to their only child, their most precious child, who they are holding in their arms, may you be happy. For many of us, we're not used to using our inner voice in this way. And in fact, it can be quite jarring. It can be quite emotional to experience and to practice that this is a valid way to approach ourselves, to speak to ourselves. So a part of the practice of metta is that we are learning what it's like when we plant these kinds of seeds in our garden, the garden of our mind, of our life. This practice of metta can be very, very powerful. And if you're skillful, if you're a particular kind of person, then this practice of metta can be your whole meditation practice. The Buddha teaches clearly that this path of loving kindness can be a path to awakening, to great peace and great healing. And I can tell you from my own experiences that even in a time of panic, even in a time of great stress, I've been able to use metta to calm and to stabilize my mind. So we'll do a few more moments of metta. You can repeat after me. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May my life be free from difficulties. May my body be free from pain. May my mind be free from confusion. May my breath be a source of peace in my life. May each and every breath be a source of peace in my life. May each and every breath be a source of peace in my life. May I be happy and safe. May those who are near to me be happy and safe. May those who are far away from me be happy and safe. May all beings, big or small, good or bad, be happy and safe. May all beings, big or small, good or bad, be happy and safe. May each and every breath be a source of peace. May each and every breath be a source of peace. May it be so. May it be so. May it really be so. Okay, so we can open our eyes if they've been closed. Start to come back to our normal way of being. You can see that a lot of people gather together right now, practicing in a very similar way to how we have been practicing you as an individual, because it's a very human activity. So even though we aren't talking back and forth, we aren't necessarily seeing each other or smelling each other, we are doing the same basic practice, this introspection, this contemplation, this cultivation. It's very human in that way. So there tends to be an intimacy and a community that comes not through our thinking, not through our ideas, but through our mutually focused experience and practice. Okay? So what we went over today was most of the main meditation methods that I would recommend and that are commonly practiced. So that is a body scanning. We're scanning through the body with our attention. But first of all, we have to be somewhat calm, we have to be somewhat relaxed, and we find that stable position. Sit down or lay down, and we have that intention to meditate, that intention to practice. And then we went over body scanning techniques, so just scanning through your body, non-judgmental awareness of your body. Then we went to these two meditation methods of mindfulness. So mindfulness of the breath, mindfulness of the feeling of the breath as it comes in through the nose, and it can be very refined, very subtle. And then also mindfulness of the body. This one can be a little bit tricky, a little bit confusing, because the body is a lot to be mindful of. And there's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of distractions. But if you can feel a general awareness of the body, or if you can continuously come back to the sensations in your body, sometimes painful, sometimes pleasant, then that's a very, very good method, awareness of the body. And then finally we went over this practice of metta, loving kindness meditation. And it's as straightforward, it's as simple as it sounded, as it appeared to be, and it's also just as powerful as it is simple. And like I said, it's a method that we can bring up, that we can practice even in motion, even in a time of a crisis or a panic. Metta can be quite helpful, can be quite practical to utilize. All right, so at this time, if anyone has a question or if anyone would like to share their experience, then the floor is open for that. And for the new people here, I think we have a lot of people join recently, just to say and make sure that as many people hear this as possible. We have a list of official channels in the Discord server. So info, get started, resources, daily schedule, and all of that has a lot of really good information in it. So these twice daily group meditations allow us to really have the causes and conditions to begin stepping into a meditation practice, a spiritual practice. But most of the work, all of the work, is done by you. The guidance is just supporting causes and conditions for you to do that practice personally. So making sure that you take advantage of the resources and the information that we have in the official channels. That's a lot of information to give you the best framework that I can offer and that our community can offer for stepping more and more into your spiritual practice, okay, your meditation practice. So does anyone have a question or want to share something, share their experience? And one moment, let me adjust something here really quick. And also I will turn the camera around so we can all see each other, because you know there are people here at the center too. So you can see all of them and they can see all of you. So we have 4 people all sitting together here. Oh, I didn't turn the computer so they can't see you guys. Okay. So we have about, should be more than 30 people for our session this evening. So very high spiritual potency there. I'm sure we all got some benefits from that. So go ahead, you wanted to share a cat. What do you like to share? Oh, I'm sorry, please wait one moment. We have a technical, we can't hear you here. Okay, how about now? Try now. Oh, okay, go ahead, Kat.
Okay, I've meditated before, but I've never heard of metta. And when you began that segment, I started to cry, and I got like very warm, and I kind of lost my meditation pretty immediately. I was wondering if you had any wisdom on that.
Yeah, so this is very, very normal. Your experience is very, very common. And the answer really is that this is a process. And it's not a race. And we're not working to get to some end goal of not having emotions or having a perfect mind, a perfect relationship with ourselves. But as we first start stepping into the practice, a lot of emotions kind of come in and bubble up. And we process through them and we let them come up and we're fully aware of them and we let them go down, we let them release. So it's very normal to have that kind of emotional response during metta because a lot of us were never taught or encouraged or made clear that we can take care of ourselves in that way. So when you really experience directly that not only is this like a reasonable way to relate to yourself, but that it has a powerful impact, it can be very, very emotional. You know, especially that concept of loving kindness without debate, without justification. The loving kindness of a mother holding their newborn baby. You know, no one's going to come up and say, wishing for them to be happy, you're a bit of a dreamer, aren't you? No, you're not a bit of a dreamer. You're a loving and caring mother. And so in metta, we kind of learn to generate that energy for ourselves. So I encourage you to continue working with it, practicing with it, as you feel comfortable.
Thank you.
And I will also really recommend, this is something I always recommend to people in looking into compassion. I mean, this general loving kindness practice. And it's a 10-day challenge of loving kindness teachings. Not really a challenge, but it's, I don't know why I say that. It's never been kind of advertised as a challenge, but I always say that. I'll put that in voice text, and anyone who's resonates with that idea of developing loving kindness and developing compassion, this is a 10-day series. It's basically like a workshop on that loving kindness for the self by a really wonderful, world-renowned teacher, Sharon Salzberg. And I definitely recommend that you commit to those 10 days, and watching a video a day can be very fruitful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. There's a lot of there's a lot of empowerment. There's a lot of intimacy that comes about when we have so many people coming together. And even though we're not all in the same room together, we are together. And there's an aliveness to the practice that comes about through that, that we support each other in that way. And for me, I'm the main facilitator, but I'm also very much the recipient of that, those benefits from everyone coming together with a single pointed focus. So glad that you're here. Anyone else have a question or want to share an experience?
I also,
Yeah, you want to share an experience?
yes. It was really curious because before meditation, I felt my body very heavy and uncomfortable. I felt pain in the legs. And then when metta meditation started, I also changed my position a little bit and start to breathe more deep. And I really felt something to me very funny because I felt my body separating kind of, because the head was super high and the legs very down and heavy, and in between the air was very cold and fresh, and just by moving a bit I felt all the body shaking a lot. So I was mostly stopped, fixed in the ground, but at the same time I was moving a lot. And this make me smile a lot, and I had a lot of fun at the end.
Great, thank you. So a lot of fun, interesting experiences can come about through meditation, and they are impermanent. So just notice them, be aware of them, and continue with your method of meditation. We can feel our body expanding to become very big, or we can feel the kind of rotating, feeling like we're rotating, feeling like we're floating. Many different experiences like that come up. And it's in some ways just like a thought, a strong thought that comes up, and we don't get carried away by it. We return to our meditation method. The states and the experiences that you will be carried away by, there's no kind of there's no discussion about it. It's no like, well, if I move this way or if I feel that, it's there's a shift in your experience that you don't have any say over. And that's kind of where we get into these deeper mind states of brightening the mind, and the mind becoming much more peaceful, much more still, and the body as well. Okay, anyone else like to share?
I had a question about the meta stuff. So I was really on board with that. I was really enjoying that. I did get a little bit caught up though when it started to be about, may others. Because I don't know, I guess I kind of have a thing about like, that's kind of their business. Like whether, like, because I can say like, may I be happy, may I be this, but like when it comes to other people, like what if they don't want to be happy? Like I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but that's kind of something that I kind of struggled with and I kind of stopped doing once it got into that territory.
Yes, thank you so much, Jim, for sharing that. So metta, we start practicing metta for ourselves because extending metta outwards is difficult. Okay, this is the practice of a saint. This is the practice of the most amazing people in the world that we can imagine, that they go outside and birds are flying to them, animals are coming to them. People can feel this energy of loving kindness that just exudes from them. Because they have metta not just for themselves, but they have, or they're rather, they have metta not just for their small self, but they have lots of metta for their big self. Okay? So from a scientific point of view, when I see you, or you, the you that I'm seeing is not your body and your mind, it's you that's inside me. It's the you that exists inside me. So those people that we've had conflicts with in the past, those people who are just miserable, nasty, horrible people, that's not them that we're talking about. That's the them that's inside of us. So as we practice to give metta outwards towards, at the beginning, people that we love, and then people who we are kind of neutral about, we don't really care about, and then to people that we hate, we are purifying our own mental state. We are metta-izing our own internal combustion engine of the mind, so that it's just metta on top of metta on top of metta. And there's no justification or mechanism for ill will, this kind of nastiness, this negativity to fester or to grow inside of our minds, because your hatred or your nastiness towards someone else, they don't have to deal with it, you have to deal with it. So we're working on really purifying all aspects of our experience. And then eventually you can get to the point of, may all beings be happy, may all beings be well. And at the beginning, when we do an exercise like this, it's more just like we're doing some stretching, and that we are empathizing with this intention to have loving kindness towards all beings, to have loving kindness towards those people who we don't like, or even the people who we love. Sometimes it's difficult to extend ourselves to really have that deep loving intention towards them, because we're quite selfish, and that's normal, that's natural. So we start with metta towards ourselves, and if we find that it's difficult to think of metta in a bigger way, like metta towards other people, like you said, you just focus on doing that towards yourself, but in a very wholesome, sweet, sincere, no debate, no discussion, no well, this is kind of too fluffy for me. I'm not a puppy, I'm a dragon bear. Right? None of that. Just be as fluffy and sweet and sincere as you possibly can with loving kindness towards yourself, towards all aspects of yourself, all parts of your body, like Mickey was saying. When we start to practice loving kindness, it also applies to our body. It applies to pain in our body, that we can have a totally different relationship to anxiety, or to physical pain, or to fear, So we focus on ourselves first, and then the further development of metta going outward will come when it comes. You don't have to force it. And if you just are very kind and sweet and gentle and compassionate towards yourself, that's great. You don't need to go farther than that. If you're not able
I just want to make sure it's about intent, and not mystic. You know what I mean? I'm all for intent. I want to have good intentions for people. I just want to make sure it's not getting into violating free will or something.
We all want to be happy. We all want to be at peace. None of us want to burn in a fire. So you don't have to worry when you're sending loving kindness to other people. You don't have to worry about interfering with their free will to suffer. Everyone has more than enough suffering than they know what to do with. No one is looking for more suffering. So when you wish for people to be happy, when you wish for people to be free from suffering, when you wish for people to be at peace, it's your wish, it's your intention. It's not you grabbing a hold of someone and saying, be happy, be happy. It is your intention. It is your sincere wish. And sometimes that wish can have an effect on other people. Sometimes they can feel it. But it's still you. And like I said at the beginning, the other people that you're talking about are only the other people inside of you. They're an aspect of yourself. The people from our past that impacted us positively or negatively, they're a part of us. And so when we show metta, when we show loving kindness to them, we show loving kindness to ourselves. All those different aspects of ourselves. Okay, Jim?
Sounds good.
All right. Anyone else?
Oh, Bante, I had a question.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you could speak for a moment on the experience of having insight in meditation, but through direct experience and not just from connecting your thoughts together.
Well, it's a very good question. I couldn't speak so much about it. I think that as we practice more consistently and more regularly, we grow, and we were talking about this earlier today in we're in our earlier time slot, in our 7 a.m. New York time slot. We're studying or maybe it's 8 a.m. We're studying the teachings of Zen Master Empty Cloud. And he was talking about the development of faith in applying our method and that method's effectiveness in reducing suffering or ending suffering, in allowing us to see our Buddha self, our Buddha mind. So that's more like the Mahayana or the Zen perspective on that. And the Theravada would maybe be more this objective decreasing of your defilements, your attachment to particular unskillful behaviors. I think that over time, as we practice with a lot of sincerity and a lot of consistency, then our relationship to our thoughts changes on an experiential level, so that we are experiencing through experiencing at any given moment, and we don't necessarily believe that that experience is referencing some abstract line of thinking or some conceptual situation that we may find ourselves in, but that that experience itself is actually what's happening. So I've heard that from Master Sheng Yen, a very great teacher that has influenced me a lot, that the samatha side of things, the concentration, the meditative samadhi absorption side of things, is to practice the method very deeply, single-mindedly. And the vipassana, so unified mind, only practicing the method. And the vipassana, or the insight, is to know that that's what you are doing. To know that that is what is happening. You know, that's that kind of special seeing that is not relying on or not referencing a framework of thinking or belief. So that's what I can say about that, Gabe. That's a really wonderful question. I don't think I answered in a very satisfactory way, but very good question, Gabe.
Thank you, Bante. That was actually a great answer. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? We have a lot of questions today, so that's good.
I have a question. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yeah, Scott can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I have a question about your path and your personal practice. I see that you're teaching a lot of different methods of meditation, but I was wondering if you had a primary practice that you have mainly gone back to, or have you had like a progression of practices, or just a smart martial arts approach where you just pull a lot from a lot of different traditions and methods?
Yeah. You're breaking up a little bit at the end there, but I think I heard everything. So I like a more open awareness practice. We can call this a silent illumination, or shikantaza, just sitting. But to get to this point, even if you have experience, even if you've practiced it before, you have to be, it's basically meditation without an object. So it's mindfulness without an object of mindfulness. So to come into that, to get into that, you have to slow down and stabilize and get to a certain point every time that you meditate. So you could call, you just say, well, I just practice silent illumination. I just practice objectless mindfulness, meditation. But you could just be, kind of having a more vague and loose experience of mindfulness of one object after another, different objects. So I recommend, that you have a big toolbox and you find something that works for you. And then it's consistency. It's not really intensity. And sometimes you will find yourself in a structure or in a situation where you can get more in depth, you can get more intense. But in general, it's about consistency, and it's about really considering, like, do you want to become a meditator? Or another word that we use in my teacher's tradition is a yogi. Do you want to become someone who is very invested and continuously involved in spiritual practice rather than just, you like to do meditation or you like to be a part of a community, to become a yogi, like a devotee, someone who's very serious about meditation as the primary focus of their life, or spirituality as the primary focus of their life. I try different methods, awareness of the breath, awareness of the body. All of that's very, very good, but it's consistency and sincerity and simplicity that are really at the forefront of my practice, instead of one particular method. Okay?
Thank you.
Right, yeah.
And I just have a short little fun statement. This cat that's on my lap, if I'm playing video games, if I'm watching TV, he won't sit here. If I try to get him to sit here, he won't sit here. If I meditate and I'm not trying to get him to sit here, he sits here. That's all.
Great. So that's a good thing to share. Yeah, it's good. Cat likes meditation, so that's good.
What about the other cat?
We can add a +1 to the 2. They're both meditating. They're both a part of the group. Both of the cats are here. All right. Anyone else have a question? And we have some comments about affecting others with our meditation practice. In general, don't overthink it. If you wish for someone to be happy, it's not that confusing of a situation. If you wish for someone to live a happy, free life that has joy in it, it's not that confusing, it's not that complicated, it doesn't really have anything to do with free will. But if that is complicated, and that goes to Andreas's question here, if we are just getting used to metta, if it's something that we're not fully acquainted with, is it wise to be wishing it outwards? And it depends on the person. For some people to really deeply connect with that intention, to send metta outwards, allows that to send metta to themselves. Okay? So for example, some people are very generous and very loving and very caring for other people, but they don't send metta to themselves. They're not really willing to be loving and kind to themselves. So to spark that fire of metta towards themselves, which of course they have, there's a conflict there that they're dealing with. You can start of wishing loving kindness towards that person you love, and then once you start to feel that warmth of loving kindness, you turn it towards yourself. But don't overcomplicate any of this stuff. It's just to practice it, and to expand out as we are ready and as we are comfortable to do so. All right. Okay. So we'll just all bring our hands together, and we'll finish up with the 3 sadhus. Excellent, well done, good job. Recognition of our practice together, the wholesomeness of this activity, the skillfulness of this activity, to be present, to be caring for our body and mind, and to really being investing in our own mental, emotional, psychological health. So we can chant 3 sadhus together. And this is a very traditional Buddhist word that means excellent, well done, good job. Sadhu. All right. Thank you for joining, everyone. See you tomorrow. See some of you tomorrow at 8 a.m. New York time or 2 p.m. New York time. It's all up to you. Hope we'll all keep practicing together. Okay? Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.